Here are 6 space games, some timeless, some overlooked, that I truly love and truly believe you just cannot miss. Now, I know what you're thinking, but trust me, this isn't your typical clickbait countdown. We're going to uncover the true gems that stay with you long after you've exited to desktop. These games tap into something primal, something deeply human, whether it's the thrill of surviving against impossible odds or the quiet awe of exploring the unknown. Let's start with FTL, the game responsible for more emotional breakdowns than Windows ME on a bad day with a new printer. And yet, when your battered ship limps to victory, it's pure cosmic redemption. Hi everyone and welcome back to the Mish Pit. Let's go! If you haven't played FTL, you might look at it and think, is this some kind of flash game from 2008? And you wouldn't be entirely wrong about the aesthetic. But beneath the charmingly retro facade lies a roguelike masterpiece. The premise is simple. You're a tiny Federation ship, fleeing the overwhelming rebel fleet, carrying vital information that could turn the tide of war. Your mission? Get to the exit. Sounds easier, right? Wrong, so wrong. It will put your strategic thinking and frankly, your emotional resilience to the ultimate test. FTL is a masterpiece in emergent storytelling. Every single jump is a roll of the dice. Will you encounter a benevolent alien merchant, desperate refugees, or a hostile super drone with a cloaking device ready to tear your ship apart? The beauty, and often the agony, of FTL lies in its ambiguity. One minute you're cruising, feeling like controlling the flow of destiny itself. The next, you've got no air, no pilot, and your last engineer's about to be turned into mantis confetti. And the game, in its infinite wisdom, tells you losing is part of the fun. Seriously. And you know what? It actually is. Each crushing defeat teaches you something new, pushes you to adapt, to optimize, to make those split-second life or death decisions that shape your run. It's an emotional roller coaster, a constant tightrope walk between desperate survival and glorious fleeting victory. You'll scream, you'll cheer, and you'll probably shed a tear or two when your favorite Mantis boarding party gets vaporized because you forgot to disable auto-fire before teleporting. But you'll always come back for more. Because that feeling of commanding your little pixelated vessel, making those impossible choices, and sometimes, just sometimes, pulling off a miraculous escape is utterly addictive. And the soundtrack is just as much of a masterpiece as the game itself. Next up, we have a game that, for many, holds a special place in their hearts, even if it's been largely forgotten by the mainstream. Homeworld Emergence. You might know it as Homeworld Cataclysm, but due to some legal shenanigans, it got a name change. Whatever you call it, this real-time strategy game is a masterclass in atmosphere, tactical gameplay, and emotional storytelling. I think it's the best game of the whole series. From the start, it throws you right into the thick of it with a persistent fleet that carries over from mission to mission. You don't build a base, your flagship that you improve and expand step by step is your mobile base. This creates a powerful sense of attachment to your stuff, making every loss feel genuinely impactful. But there's more. Emergence takes the core of the Homeworld formula and injects a healthy dose of horror. And everything gets better with horror. You're not commanding a warship, you're in charge of a humble mining vessel, repurposed into a makeshift combat ship as the threat escalates. You're also not just fighting another alien race, you're battling a parasitic entity named the Beast, which I will not spoil here. That sense of being outmatched, of scraping together any edge you can find while trying to fight an enemy you don't fully understand, only deepens the tension and immersion. The writing and voice acting in particular is top-notch, conveying a sense of dread that truly pulls you into the narrative.
In the meantime, we continue with our surface studies. Samples taken from the beacon's hull indicate an age of roughly 1 million Higaran years. Part of the beacon appears to have had some sort of organic layering at some point, but
the missions are complex and well crafted, often requiring clever tactical maneuvers rather than just brute force. You'll find yourself making difficult choices, sacrificing ships to save others, and constantly adapting your strategy to counter the ever-evolving threat of the Beast. It's a game that understands the fear of the unknown and the desperate struggle for survival against an enemy that defies conventional understanding. If you're looking for an RTS that will make you feel something beyond just tactical superiority, Homeworld Emergence is the game to play. In the description, I'll link a video that'll show you how to optimize it for modern systems. Moving on, let's talk about Nexus, the Jupiter Incident, a criminally overlooked tactical space combat classic that leans closer to The Expanse than Homeworld. This isn't about swarming the enemy with lots of units, it's about outfitting and commanding a handful of highly specialized starships with surgical precision. Every engagement feels like a high-stakes ballet in vacuum, where weapon management, subsystem targeting and positioning matter far more than size. The story is surprisingly solid too. You're drawn into a galaxy teetering on the edge of full-scale war, with the expected political backstabbing and ancient alien tech, but told with enough intrigue and pacing to keep you hooked. Also, the world building is really good.
To this day, I cannot forget the awe that ship inspired in me. It took off when I was 10. It was around that time that I decided I wanted to become an astronaut. I gained a dream, but lost a father.
What really sets Nexus apart though is the weight of it all. The ships move with purpose, not speed, combat is deliberate and cinematic, fighter squads swarm enemy ships, hulls rupture in slow motion glory, immobilized vessels get evacuated, and long-range missiles explode in super bright blasts. Your success depends not on reflexes, but on tactical forethought. If you've ever fantasized about captaining your own fleet in slow burn, high-impact space warfare, combined with an interesting story, Nexus the Jupiter Incident is the classic game to play. It also supports UI scaling, so don't get distracted by its microscopic launcher. Just click Options and enlarge the UI. The in-game interface will look just fine then. If you enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to drop a like to tell YouTube it's worth watching, it means a lot. Also, please post any old or hidden space game gems you're aware of in the comments below for others to appreciate. Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about Starsector, a game I backed 14 years ago as it was a mere alpha. This is one of those games that at first glance might seem a little bit overwhelming. It's a 2D, top-down space sandbox RPG, yes, I actually said that, with a persistent universe and super deep real-time combat, as well as sophisticated ship outfitting mechanics. If that sounds like a lot, well, it is. But in the best possible way. Starsector is a game about carving your own destiny in a harsh and unforgiving galaxy. You start with a single ship or a small fleet, a handful of credits, and a whole lot of ambition. From there, you can be a trader, a pirate, a bounty hunter, a mercenary, anything you can think of, or even build your own faction. The galaxy is your oyster, or more accurately, your incredibly dangerous, resource-rich, and often hostile oyster. Think a bit Mount and Blade warband in space. What makes Starsector so compelling is its incredible depth and replayability. The combat is insanely well crafted and tactical, with a surprising amount of nuance. Managing and expanding your fleet, planning your approach, designating roles, and then fighting the actual battles feels incredibly satisfying. But it's not just about the engagements. The exploration aspect is genuinely interesting. Any moment you might stumble upon a derelict station filled with ancient technology or fall into a trap set by pirates. There's a constant sense of being a small fish in a very, very big pond, And that feeling of vulnerability, coupled with the potential of becoming immensely powerful, is what keeps you coming back. It's a game that rewards careful planning and bold execution, and it's easy to lose hundreds of hours just exploring, trading, and fighting your way across the sector. Also, the pixel artwork is just glorious. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. So if you're looking for a space game that offers a truly immersive sandbox experience, Starsector has been made just for you. Next up, we have Interstellar Space Genesis, a game that wears its inspirations proudly on its sleeve. If you, like me, have fond memories of spending countless hours lost in the depths of Master of Orion 2, then Interstellar Space Genesis is going to feel like coming home. It's a 4X turn-based strategy game that captures the essence of those classic space empire builders while adding its own modern twists and refinements. You'll be exploring new star systems, expanding your empire, exploiting resources, and exterminating your rivals. What makes ISG so special is how it manages to evoke that deep sense of nostalgia for Master of Orion 2 without simply being a clone. It takes the best elements like the detailed shipbuilder, the tactical combat, the diplomacy, the interesting tech tree, and builds upon them. Empire growth and exploration have been expanded meaningfully. There's an option now to exploit black holes and neutron stars. Strategic resources have been added. Your long-range telescopes gather reconnaissance and can find rogue planets drifting in space. And you can even play it peacefully, focusing solely on exploration and cultural development, which is a nice touch for those who prefer a less combative experience. Also, the extended espionage mechanics add another layer of strategic depth, allowing you to manipulate your opponents from the shadows, steal their technology, and even poach their leaders. It's a game that understands what made its predecessors great and respectfully evolves the formula. If you've been yearning for a more modern 4X game that scratches that Master of Orion 2 itch, Interstellar Space Genesis is a game you can't miss. It also runs on potato PCs and still gets updates. I'm not the absolute hardcore 4X guy, but I love these types of games. There may be deeper games than ISG, not a lot though, but I really dig the mix of uncomplicated turn-based exploration and tactical combat, which sets it apart from a lot of other games in its niche. Finally, we arrive at Subnautica. And yes, it's been 11 years already since it hit early access in 2014. Now, this isn't a space game in the traditional sense, with spaceships and intergalactic empires. Instead, it's a game about being stranded on an alien ocean planet. It probably is more well known than the others on this list, but I love it so much I had to include it anyways. It masterfully taps into a primal fear that few other games manage to touch: thalassophobia, the fear of deep, dark water. You crash land on planet 4546b, a world almost entirely covered in water, and your escape pod is pretty much all you have. From there, it's a desperate struggle for survival, exploring the vibrant yet terrifying alien ocean. Subnautica shows how it's done when it comes to storytelling and emergent horror. The initial hours are filled with wonder as you discover the new biomes, strange creatures, and breathtaking underwater scenery. But as you delve deeper, the beauty gives way to an unsettling sense of dread. The Leviathan-class creatures lurking in the murky depths are not just dangerous, they are forces of nature, reminders of your insignificance in this vast alien world. The game doesn't rely on jump scares. Instead, it builds a pervasive atmosphere of isolation and vulnerability. Every dive into the uncharted waters is a gamble. You're constantly balancing the need to explore for resources and blueprints with the overwhelming fear what might be lurking just a few hundred meters below. It's a game that makes you feel truly alone and truly vulnerable. The sense of accomplishment when you finally craft a small submarine or build a sprawling underwater base is immense, a testament to your resilience against an unforgiving environment. If you ever wondered what it feels like to be alone, cast away on an alien world, facing the unknown with nothing but your wits and a few tools, Subnautica is an experience you absolutely cannot miss. Also, you can play it in VR to reach a whole new level of dread and wonder. This video shows why I believe everyone should play Subnautica. I think the best games aren't just about flashy graphics or endless content, they're about the emotions they evoke, the stories they tell, and the lasting impact they leave on us. Subnautica nails all of that. Happy gaming, and may your journeys through the stars be filled with wonder, excitement, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of existential dread. See you in the next one.